What is the definition of woke? Well, we're going to take a stab at it. Let me know what you guys think about it. It is something that has been talked about recently. People are asking conservatives and they're asking libertarians, you keep using the term woke. What do you mean by woke? So let me know if you think this is a good definition. Also, we have Washington State is banning natural gas in new homes. That's a big deal out there, not just natural gas too. They're banning all sorts of things like coal as well as wood. Home improvement loans, but the bank wants to pay contractors directly. So I don't know, I've never heard of that before, where they want to cut the check directly to the contractors. They don't want to give you the money. They want to send it right to them. But we got that, plus a whole bunch of other reports coming from you guys. Let's jump right into it. Welcome to the Poplar Report. I'm Steve Poplar. I'm an accountant by trade, and these are your updates. If you have an update that you'd like to send in, please do send it to us. Just reply back to any one of the videos as a comment, and just use the word update somewhere in the comment, and that gets it to the right place. Give us also some sort of geographical location so the information is useful. We do want to thank our sponsor, Genesis Gold Group. You've heard about them on the channel. If you've thought about chatting with them, I promise you they're great folks, and they are not going to high pressure sales you. If you want to just get some answers to some basic questions, because you're probably on the fence. You're like, this is probably not for me. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, whatever. But if you want to get some questions answered, there'll be a link at the end of the video for you to get just to have a chat with them and see if it is a good fit. But there'll be a link at the end of the video. All right, Jen says, Detroit area. My grandson works for the UPS distribution center, and his entire bay is being laid off at the end of April. They had told them last month that it was going to come as soon as August. Surprise. And we keep seeing that, where layoffs, you get warned about it, but then they blindside you with it. They don't want you to see it coming. And the reason why they don't want you to see it coming is because then you could resist it, or because you'd stop working quite as hard. They do want to drop it on you as late as possible. And they want to keep the option open to not firing you or not laying you off, right? So just be aware that if you have a job, it may not be there any given day, any given month. It can disappear just like that. Jay says, my son, who fought cancer and almost died multiple times, got a notice today that they are refusing to pay for his follow-up care for his cancer. Aetna Insurance is who he is through. They dropped him during his treatments, and we had to go through Ron Estes, our Republican congressman, to get it back because he would have died without it. Now they are refusing his follow-up care payments, so he has to cancel his upcoming appointment this week. He is at high risk for his cancer returning because the first time he went into remission, it returned, and having his PET scans is vital to him. They just won't leave him alone. We live in Kansas, and Kansas is rated 49th worst state to live in if you have Medicaid. I will help him try to fight this, but over the past few months, I, an elderly person on SSDI, have lost 3/4 of my energy assistance, and now they are trying to take away my food assistance, and now my son's Medicaid is denying his medical bills. All the money is going to others, not to Americans. And we're having another aftershock. Thanks for being on this YouTube. Ooh, that's a nice and strong one. Wonder if I can flip that camera around. No. All right. Well, we're going to keep on going. Mittmont says Washington State just signed into law the banning of natural gas in homes. Now, it is new home construction, right? So not existing homes, and it is all fossil fuels, oil, coal, and also they already have wood stove restrictions in place, definitely in the cities, but then they also have some restrictions on new wood furnaces going into new homes in Washington State. So This is just, they just keep rolling these things out. They just want to keep banning things in the future. And then when those bans come into place, they're like, oh, well, that's been on the books for a while now. They keep doing that because when they put the restrictions in, people don't push back because they're like, oh, that's 5 years down the road. Who cares about that? And then when we get there, it's like, well, it's been on the books for a long time and you haven't challenged it for this whole period. But it just seems like they're just twisting and squeezing us harder and harder. All right, let's get into it, friends. Loretta says, what is the definition of woke? Not trying to be snarky, just don't know the meaning. Thank you for your updates. Keep up the good work. All right, so this has become a thing where Western journalists and others are going up to conservatives now and being like, well, what's your definition of woke? And they're doing it kind of as a gotcha. So let's not do a gotcha. Let's see if I can take a crack at this. Woke. Someone who is brainwashed into seeing the world through a racial, LGBTQ plus / eco victim mentality and uses that as justification to act out in racist, tyrannical, and or terroristic ways. So does that make sense? Do you like that definition? It's someone who's brainwashed to seeing the world through a racial, LGBTQ plus or eco, but victim mentality, so that these groups or this is all about this is ongoing persecution or whatever, and then they use that as justification. See, if you have that mentality, okay, that's fine. But it's when they use that mentality to justify acting out in racist ways or acting out in tyrannical ways. They're like, well, the world's in danger, so therefore I'm going to take away all of your rights. I'm going to take away your ability to do things. Or they use as legitimacy for attacking people and using terroristic tactics where they cancel people or they attack people or they destroy property, right? We've seen all of these things. So woke is not just that you think something, but you then use as justification for these type of actions, which are hypocritical, to say the least. For you to say that there's racial injustice and therefore you're going to use racial quotas, you're going to use racism, you're going to ban people from certain things because you're going to use racism to solve racism, which I have a much shorter definition here that I'm testing out, and it only works on kind of like the racial component. But racists scolding non-racists for being racist. That's my short definition. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Do you have a better definition of what woke is? Because it's a legitimate question. It's a legitimate question. What is woke? Some people have said it's basically the totality of all the bad stuff that's happening. And it's like, yeah, but that's not a very specific definition, is it? All right, Missy says, Middle Tennessee here. I talked to a postal employee at my local post office. Started off with a comment about the new pricing and how expensive the Priority Mail Express has become and how they are still trying to weasel their way out of reimbursing customers when the package is not delivered on time. So you're paying all this extra money for priority mail, but then they don't want to actually reimburse you when it doesn't show up. She agreed, and then she said that this is all part of the 5-year plan they are enacting with the goal to eliminate all these services at the rural post offices and put them in a more centralized area. So they intend to shift my small town post office about 30 to 40 minutes away to the next larger town over. I told her, well, if I'm going to have to drive that far, I'm going to start using UPS. I know USPS, U.S. Postal Service, is currently in the process of closing a number of larger distribution centers. So that is stuff that's coming down the pike, friends. Almost Heaven says, dairy farmers concerned as cows mysteriously become sick. So we have bird flu going around there with the cows, but then we also have other things. PBS reported that the milk from dairy cows in Texas and Kansas is tested positive for bird flu, and the officials and farmers are worried. Now, if it's tainted with bird flu, then, you know, and the cows aren't getting sick from it, that's one thing. Now, is it contagious from what's in the milk? Probably not. But expect, if they are dumping out that milk, that you may see some shortages of milk out there, because that is a sizable number there, a large number of cows in Texas and Kansas. Trista Painter says, applied for a personal loan at the end of March to help fund a home project. The bank said I was approved, but wanted to invoice to pay the contractors directly, and that was a stipulation for me being approved. They didn't want to cut me a check and have me withdrawing money. I declined the loan. Has anyone else heard of this kind of thing before? Is this typical for home loans or home construction or home renovation loans? Do they want to write the check directly to the contractors? Is that something that happens? I've never done one of those before, so I don't know if that's weird or not. Let me know down in the comments. YY in Indiana says, had oil change scheduled at one of the national chains. They also work on cars, not only oil changes. When I got there, asked if I could come back 1 hour later. He was 2 cars behind. He said yes and just stayed busy in my car. Later, when I asked, the manager said they were having trouble hiring and keeping technicians. We'll hire and find out that the hirees do not know what they're doing after a couple of days. So they're having trouble getting technicians and then keeping ones that actually know what they're doing. BWM says, a Walmart worker told me that the reason that they can't take cash at self-checkouts is because there aren't workers available to put cash in the machines. It seems like a bad excuse to me. Also, we have Karen here. Our small town had 40 families come to our food pantry today. Normally, we have less than 20. There were 10 new families that signed up just today. We just had a food drive and already we're needing another food drive. Food pantries are struggling out there. If you know any private or food pantries that are aligned with your religious beliefs or such things like that, please do check out to see if you can help them out. If you have any availability or any ability to help them out, please do that because that is really important, especially in these days. Thanks so much for watching. If you want to check out another video from the channel, there's one right up here. If you want to get some more information from Genesis Gold, or if you just want to ask them some questions, there's a link right here. You fill out your information there and they'll contact you to see if they can answer any of your questions or if it might be a good fit for you. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. Steve Poplar of the Poplar Report, out.